JM in the house. Just want to say thanks to everyone that came. Jared, everybody. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good, man. Strength in the house. All right, good. So I wanted to do this seminar, but I wanted to ask Jared to join me. And I wanted to ask Richard to join me as well, because like I was telling Steve McAdams in the back, there's some things that I know, a few things that I know, but you know, there's always several ways to do things the right way. So these guys have been around the sport, traveled the world just like I have, and everyone has an opinion and a view that can certainly help you out. So I asked them to join me. I want to say thanks a lot, Rich, for running a great show.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin.
I was on stage in Warner, Maryland in 1990. 1990, a long time ago.
I was 1987, so we're like really going back now, aren't we?
Yes, we are. So, Jerry, man, I want to tell you, bro, I'm proud of you and what you've done.
I appreciate it, Ken.
You know, I saw you take off.
So what you guys may not know the backstory, back in 2009, we had that website together, m3muscle.com. We actually owned a business together, Kevin and I. And my whole entire life, not one single person, whether it was family, friends, and no one ever told me they believed in me or I could accomplish anything. I came from a very small town. Kevin was the first one to put it in my head that I could do something. And we were making these videos for the website. He kept shoving me in front of these videos because he didn't want to be the face of it. He's like, I want you to be the face. And that led me eventually to doing YouTube, which just blew up for me. And I've literally traveled the world with the YouTube thing, gotten sponsors with great companies. I was one of the first sponsored athletes with 5% Nutrition. Rich Siegelman was a very close friend of mine. Primeval Labs, I became the face of Primeval Labs, and now I own GIFD Labs. And all of that started with Kevin in my ear telling me that I could do it back in 2009.
Yeah, next thing I knew you had, was it BioS?
BioS 3 training, my training company.
Yeah, blew up big time.
So a little bit about BioS 3. So the last show I ever competed in was the Nationals back in 2010. And that's where I got my pro card at. And I was lucky enough and blessed enough. My man down here, Dave Pulcinello, helped me out a lot for that show. He's the one that actually, after I got done doing the Delaware on my class there, he took one look at me and said, bro, you're doing the Nationals? You ain't gonna make it. And literally took his advice, because he was very blunt, very honest, and I did appreciate that. I love you, bro. Yeah, that's right. Pulling my skin, say, hey dude, you're still fat. What are you looking at? So anyway, and then I went to Jerry and BioS 3 training. Jerry literally was by my side in the gym, and literally he was almost like holding my hand. I was like dead man walking through the gym. I couldn't even get up off the couch.
He tried to close the door to his car once. I was in the parking lot. And he went he tried like 4 or 5 times to get the door to close it. And I remember the next workout we were doing leg presses, and his pants rolled up on his leg and his ankles were striated. And I went, oh, I don't know what that means, but it's a good thing. And BioS 3, you were actually doing the podcast, I remember. Yep. And right after he won his pro card, he invited me to go on the podcast, and I didn't have a name for a company. I didn't have anything. So BioS 3 was literally born, that name, about 10 minutes.
So what does that name mean?
So Biogenics, a friend of mine, Joe Pacheco, who passed away back in 2009 of suicide, owned a company called Biogenics. And I always wanted to incorporate the biogenics thing, but you can't use something somebody's already done. So BioS 3 is the biosynthetic 3, the 3 things that create new living tissue or muscle tissue, and that is diet, training, and cardio. Those are the BioS 3. So I became BioS 3 Training, the company, and then eventually BioS 3 Training, the YouTube page and the website, etc., and stuff like that. But I came up with it literally 10 minutes before. I had a notebook and I was scribbling things down before we went on to record, and BioS 3 Training is what it was.
And actually, not too many people know that Jerry used to be a pro wrestler way back in the day. One of the Bagwell brothers, right? We're talking, when was that?
Bagwell, yeah. So my first injury was probably 2000. So I started pro wrestling, and I actually wound up meeting Bret Hart and one of the Nitro girls from WCW. And the Nitro girls looked at me and said, you look like this guy, Buff Bagwell. I actually had hair before it all fell out. And I was like the same size, had similar haircuts, so she invited me to go meet with them after Monday Nitro, which was in Boston, I think it was at the time. And I walked in, and Buff and I are standing face to face, and it was like, I was wearing like a green polo shirt, he was wearing a red one, I was wearing a green hat, it was uncanny how much similar we looked. And they were like, do you want to come to WCW? And I was like, yes, I want to come to WCW. So we made plans to go to the power plant, and then WCW got bought out by WWE, and Buff got fired, and that was it.
How long did you do it?
About 4 years before I had my first injury, and it was the bicep tear that I had for the first injury.
So I remember when I first, of course, met you. What was your weight like back then?
When I was wrestling, I would walk around about 255. The highest thing I was about 273. I was 21 years old.
What do you weigh now?
197.
There you go. That's it. So anyway.